Oh. सदाशिव समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपराम् लोकाभिरामं रणरंगधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामदूतं
Nutam Sharanam Prapadde.
Jai Sitaram. So yeah, we'll continue with, so last time again, titles are given to these chapters by our acharyas. Not necessarily Valmiki ji also wrote, but later on they added. Valmiki ji never said, oh, now Kishkinda Kand is over, a Sundar Kand is starting. He never said that. It's a one journey, one script. But later on, our acharyas and other people, they came up with this idea, which is wonderful. Okay, here the youth stories are over, so it's the Balkand. Here the coronation or other vivah happening is Ayodhya Kand. Here they are going to the jungle is Aranya Kand. Here they reach Kishkinda or that Rishyamukh Parvat is Kishkinda Kand, like that. And now we are getting into Sundar Kand. So it's all title given later on for us, good for us. Like now we know we can focus on particular area. But otherwise, it's a one journey. It's not one. It's not divided by Valmiki ji or one Ram or Hanumanji. They are not saying that. So again, it's Ramayana. So we are taking two parts. One is Valmiki Ramayana, which is the base, and there are multiple translations of Valmiki Ramayana as we see, many languages. But the most popular, especially in the northern, even southern part of India, is Tulsi Ramayana, because Tulsi Das ji took it. So, and then other like Kam Ramayana is there, and then Adhyatma Ramayana is there, and then there are many regional languages Ramayana is there. Tatvarth Ramayana is there. All those are similar to Tulsi Ramayana. So Valmiki Ramayana is very different. It is Itihas. And we know Itihas means iti, ha, us. This happened like this. It's like that, you can say. So exactly what has happened is given by Valmiki. Valmiki ji has not said anything about, oh, Ram is Bhagwan, so I'll do the prayer. He's not doing. He's just writing what is happening. Whatever is happening with Ram, he's writing. Or if Ramji is crying, he's writing Ramji is crying. If something is happening, he's writing. Because he's writing the script, whatever is happening. So that's journey. So whatever is happening in the journey, he's writing. So it is Itihas. As it is, he wrote. But so later on, so this is Itihas. But later on, when our acharyas and when it came to the society, that is all in Sanskrit, right? So recently, 500, 600, 1,000 years ago, when Bhakti movement came. Bhakti movement means when collectively we are doing something. That is Bhakti movement. There is no separate. Bhakti movement is one acharya, one guru is saying, oh, let's come together and enjoy, rather than studying individually. So that's Bhakti. That's a Bhakti movement, basically. A collection of people together. So they said, okay, if you read Valmiki Ramayana as it is, doesn't like give the message, and it is not easy for everyone to understand. It's a lot of Sanskrit. So all our acharyas, Tulsidas especially, let's take example of Tulsidas, and then others have done the same thing. So Tulsidas says, okay, I'll convert into Katha. So look at that. Now Itihas has become Katha. So what we read these days is Katha, more Kathanak. So it is Katha. Katha means narration. And Katha always have emotions. Itihas may not have emotion. Itihas will have emotions, but not particularly for some audience emotion. Katha very clearly our acharyas say that we put emotions, so for the narrator also, for the listeners also, there is an emotion connection. There is an emotion. Emotion is spiritual emotion, uplifting. So it is called katha. So now what we these days read is katha. Of course, the base is history, but all added feature. For example, we saw Shabri. Shabri's example came in Valmiki Ramayana, but Valmiki ji never talked about, oh, Shabri was. I mean, of course, he said Shabri was devotee of Ram, she was waiting, but not like, oh, half-eaten berry, she is offering, and Bhagwan, Lakshmanji is saying, hey, why are you eating? Bhagwan said, oh, she is my devotee. That is added by Acharya. And they could imagine, oh, if devotees meeting Bhagwan, what will happen? So it's like the screenplay example, script versus screenplay. Screenplay is for enjoying the movie. Script is based on some novel or some historical event. So that is katha. So now the one thing happens anytime we listen to katha, there is a phalshruti of that katha. What will happen if you listen to katha? Like we go for a movie, and I know this is an action movie, or this is a comedy movie, and this is a romantic movie. I go with that mindset and then come out of with that particular emotion. So same thing. Katha means you enjoy. And so that is a Falshruti. What is the Falshruti? And we saw Valmiki ji said that Dharma Artha Kam Mokshanam Sadhanam Shrotavyam Bhaktya. If you listen to this Katha with devotion, it helps you in Dharma Artha Kam Moksha. And it's a very high level he's talking, because Valmiki ji. So Dharma Artha Kam Moksha means the goal of life. We have to reach to Moksha means the freedom from worldly bondage or worldly limitations. That's a moksha. So he says, this Ramayana, if you read Ramayana, it helps you in achieving that. So that's, but Tulsidas ji put it in a more emotional way, or katha bhav, and more bhakti bhav. And he says, Ramcharit Manasam idam bhakta gahanti, means if you go deeper into this Ramcharit Manas, he is saying it's an ocean of Ramcharitra. And as you take a dip into that, go deeper, gahanti. Ye manava sansar patanga ghor kirne dayanti. He says that world is like a hot sun. If you go outside the hot sun, we will get burned, the skin will burn and all those things. So world is like that. And we all know that, right? World is full of dualities, full of positives and negatives, emotions, and then we all face it. That's called suffering. In terms we say that, or Buddha used to call it another shastra, like Sarvam Dukkham. Our Shastra says Sarvam Dukkham. The world has all dukh. We all know that, right? And Nanak ji also says Nanak Dukhiya Sab Sansara. Everybody says the same thing. So Tulsidas ji say, yeah, here is a solution. If you take a dip into this, then those sun rays won't burn like if you have sunscreen. Similarly, if you have the Ram Katha solution or lotion on your body or your consciousness, body means consciousness, then these sufferings, like rays of hot rays, they will not burn you. Burn you mean burn the consciousness. Like suffering, when we say, I'm not just talking philosophy, but it's a fact. Suffering, there's a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is always physiology. Always physiology. Pain is some organ has pain. But when it becomes emotional, when I feel the pain in my psyche, then it becomes the psychological pain. That is suffering. So what he is saying here, exactly, entire teaching is that our Adhyatma Shastra. But Tulsidas was a philosopher too. He's saying that, yeah, that manobal will be given. So pain there's no guarantee. Bhagavan Ram had the pain too himself. But the pain doesn't become suffering. That's what Tulsidas says. Kirne na dahiyanti. This pain will not burn your consciousness. It will not become suffering. You will still have peace of mind, in spite of having pain in the body. That's what. So that's what Tulsidas says. That is a Phalshruti. And actually that is a Phalshruti. And we'll see today Sundarkand. I mean, we can talk Sundarkand hours and hours, but we'll try whatever time we have. And that is the beauty of that chanting or listening or meditating, whatever we call it. And the third thing is the key here is our Shastra says the adhikari, who is entitled to enjoy this teaching. and they are very clear. Tulsidas ji has defined all our Shastras, but Tulsidas ji has put it in a very simple word. He says, Ram Katha ke tei adhikari, jinke sat sangati ati pyari. That's it. Those who love satsang. Satsang means not just thinking that char log baithe hain. Satsang means you're in the company of truth. That's it. That is satsang. Sang means that company, and sat means the truth, right? Or truth or ananda, shanti, whatever we call it. So when you are 10 people or one person or maybe 1,000 people are sitting together, as long as they are in the company of that sat means ananda, it is satsang. So maybe 1 million people, doesn't matter, together if they are enjoying. So Tulsidas ji kehte hain, but those who love that, they are entitled to enjoy that katha, which will give that power to handle the pain. Oh, that's an undisturbed shanti. In Gita, there is a shlok. Bhagavan says, Tyagat shanti anantaram. The bhakt or the sadhak gets the shanti which is uninterrupted. It is always there. हम लोगों की शांति आती जाती रहती है. अभी 5 मिनट है, 5 मिनट चली गई, फिर कुछ. It is uninterrupted. The world is not going to change. But in shanti inside me is not going to change too. It's like that. That's what. So that's what is. That is Phalshruti. Anyway, so now we'll move forward with our. So last time we stopped at Kishkinda Kand. Kishkinda means where Bhagwan, we saw that Bhagwan met Sugriv and Hanumanji came as ambassador of Sugriv. And then he met Bhagwan and he said, oh, I'm waiting for you. My Jan was for you, Bhagwan. So we saw that all the interaction between Bhagwan. So after that, Sugriv said, okay, Sampati, we saw Sampati was a bird. He said, I can see that Sita ji is there towards south. And Sugriv also said, we saw Ravan taking her towards south. So most likely she is in the south. But Sampati say, I can see that Lanka is in south. She is there. So you approach and then everybody goes and then when they reach the ocean, they say, oh, this is like 100 yojan. It is written in Ramayana, both Ramcharitmanas and Ramayana, 100 yojan. And in the current, if you say the conversion factor, yojan is 100 yojan means almost 800 kilometers, which is true today. The distance of between that shore to shore is almost 1,000 kilometers. Same thing. So it is written in Ramayana, 100 yojan ocean. So they are discussing how can we go. So somebody said, oh, I can try, but I'm not sure. Angad was the Bali's son. He was very powerful. He said, I'm very confident to cross this, but coming back may be a problem. So you can go, but the whole purpose was to find out Sita ji, because they promised Bhagavan Ram, Sugriv, that they'll find out where Sita ji, and then we'll go and get her. So everybody said we cannot. So Hanumanji sitting quiet. Then Jamwant still Hanumanji told very beautifully that you are born to do this, Bhagavan Ram's kaj. You are sitting quiet. So Hanumanji said, what can I do? Like, I'm not sure. He said, no, you have the power. And then he just brought Hanumanji to his level. And he said, oh, this is Ram kaj. Okay. Then Hanumanji becomes big. That's where we stopped. And that's where it is beginning of Sundarkand. So before we get into Sundarkand is one of the most read part of any Shastra, we can say. I mean, there are popularly, Satyanarayan Katha is very popular, Vishnu Sahasranam is very popular, Rudrashtakam is very popular, and all these things are very popular in Bharat, in all communities, North, South, Gujarat, Tamil, everybody. Hanuman Chalisa is very popular, Aarti. But one of the things, Sundarkand is very popular. It's read among all communities. And I checked with my South Indian friends also. They have the same Sundarkand, translated in Telugu or other languages, but same story. Hanumanji's heroics. That's it. So Sundarkand is very popular. And it is said that आपके घर में, if you have some good thing happen, read Sundarkand. शादी होती है, उसके बाद किसी का कुछ होता है, तो people read Sundarkand. और सत्यनारायण कथा, two things are very popular. So Sundarkand is and we call it Parayan. So we have two things. If high level Hindus, right, we can say there is one is called Jap, and second is Parayan. There are many other, but let's divide into two. Anything we read constantly, like regularly, it is so. Mantra is always Jap is attached to mantra, because mantra has a very limited number of words. For example, I say Om Namah Shivaya. It's a small mantra, but then I can keep chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah. That is jap. In fact, just even Om also. Om, Om. That is jap. Ram, Ram. That is jap. So jap may we take one word or mantra and just keep repeating it. And there is a whole shastra. Some other time we can talk about. But in short term, jap, there is no multiple thoughts. There's one thought. Ram, Om, Om Namah Shivaya. That's one thought. That's it. That I am bow down to Shivji, Om Namah Shivaya. Or jo bhi like naam hai, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Just Ram Krishna. So there are not thoughts. That's why we do jap. So when we do jap, it helps our in sadhan. So it gives the peace of mind in short term. It provides peace of mind because mind is not like wandering here and there. Mind is focused on just one thought, Ram, Ram, Ram. That's why they advise jap. And the second thing is Parayan. Parayan means not just because Ram is one word. So Parayan is when reading some text from end to end. That is Parayan. So we say Sundarkand Parayan, very popular term. So Sundarkand is a text. It's a part of text, but by itself is a text. Actually, Sundarkand has become by itself is a text. So people read Sundarkand, it takes 45 minutes or maybe 1 hour. Sometimes people chant also because there is a beauty in that chanting. Tulsidas ji has added that phonetics and the melody in that. So look at that. The word is Parayan. So the meaning of Parayan means the same word ayan. Ayan means it is movement. A journey, we call it movement, right? And shabd means the highest level. So by doing that Parayan, the reading Sundarkand or any other, Vishnu Sahasranam Parayan, people say that, I am making sure that my consciousness means my mind, reaches to the highest state, Parayan. I mean, by doing that again and again and again, my mind or consciousness reaches to the highest state. So if I ask this group, someone, what is the highest state of a mind? Somebody can put in the chat or maybe just speak up. What is the highest state of the mind or consciousness? Anyone, yeah, you can just say or put in the chat if you have.
And your thought is beyond Namarup.
Beyond Namrup, but if I had to give one word, what is that state?
Peace.
Yeah, Shanti. That's it. That is the reason all Hindu prayers start with Om. Om is Bhagwan's name and ends with Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. All the puja, doesn't matter what we are doing. They start with Om because I'm starting with Bhagwan's name, and in between jo bhi mantra bahut patha, and then Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 3 times. There is a different reason for 3, but the purpose is that's it. So the highest state where I want to reach is Shanti, my mind. But basically nothing but the consciousness mind, a similar word. So the Parayan, look at now, Jap does the same thing. But Jap is because there is only one word. There's you're not playing any meaning. But Parayan, you are reading, again, Katha. So look at this, is a sample of a Katha Parayan. Like Tulsi, when we say Sundarkand, I am reading the heroics of Hanumanji. That's why it's very popular. But the good part is because and people have memorized Sundarkand. Actually, we should memorize when we do Parayan, or not memorize, at least we should have a book where we are reading it and know the meaning of it. So when I'm doing the Parayan, I exactly know the meaning, what I'm reading. And when we do repeated, again, every Tuesday people do Sundarkand. I know many of my friends, every Tuesday, I used to read every day. I'm not doing these days, but for many years, every Tuesday I used to read Sundarkand. It takes 35-40 minutes. But when you're reading, you're not just passing time. It's okay, there is a value in that, you're sitting doing. But if you know the meaning, the only one meaning, you will see that Sundarkand. The meaning here is not the heroics, means not there is, and as I said earlier also, there is emotion involved. It's a katha. There are ras, like we say, Shangar ras. So Sundarkand has, I will go over that, right? Shangar ras, Bhakti ras, Shant ras, Raudra ras, Veer ras. All that is in Sundarkand. So when I'm reading Sundarkand, I'm enjoying that ras, enjoying that katha with a character called Hanumanji, character called Sita ji, character called Ramji. And when we do that Parayana again and again, so that Parayan provides me that Shanti. And Shanti is auspiciousness. And that is one reason it is called Sundar Kand. Because in Sita ji's life also, Ramji's life also, some good news came, some auspicious time came. Before that, they were struggling for 13 years in the forest. Right? Before that, Ramji struggled over Unka Ayodhya coronation. So now Hanumanji brought some auspicious news into the life of Sita ji and Ramji. That is called Sundarkand. There is a word, Sundar means not beauty. It's a very, very crude definition of Sundar in modern term, beauty. It is not beauty. It is that there is auspiciousness. It is that feeling of goodness. That is Sundar. ये हम लोगों ने तो bodily सुंदरता we always talk about. We are a human being, always focus on body. The word Sundar means, oh, something is beauty. No, it's not beauty. It is those ras which gives me the joy. That is Sundar. So that is what the reason Sundarkand is. I mean, I took few minutes, but it is important to know why Sundarkand is read so many times, and we should actually. And now we'll enter into very quickly because we have limited time. We can go on and on, but yeah. So yeah, we can say Hanumanji's name. That's what I'm saying. See, it is anything which gives you. It is Sundar like that. So we'll see both. Tulsidasi has presented Sundarkand very well. Valmiki did the same thing, but he is now historical. So we saw Hanumanji became big. So there is a shlok in Sundarkand in Valmiki Ramayana where Valmiki is describing the scene, because Valmiki ji is writing the script describing the scene, and he says the shlok प्लवं प्रवरेष्ट दृष्टः प्लवने कृतनिश्चयः प्रवर्धे रामवर्धम वर्ध अर्थम samudra eva parvuse. And they're all the Vanas, they saw Hanumanji's big group and they're describing look like Hanuman. They are saying Hanumanji's the simile, the metaphor. Valmiki ji, both Tulsidas ji also, they are like their intellectual, literally intellectual level is very high. So he's giving the simile. He's saying the Purnima night, when the high tides come into the ocean becomes swell. We see high tides Purnima. So Hanumanji is, after listening that it is Ramkaj, he has become like Purnima's tide. He's become so big. For what? The word that is Ram Vard Artham. For the Ramji's Ramakaj Karibeko Vatar. Prabhu Charit Suniveko Rasiya. So that's why I think Ram Vard Artham. To complete Bhagwan Ram's task, he has become big. So that's what depiction is. How big, that's not the question. But the depiction of our Rishi or Valmiki ji or Tulsidas is that when you want to do something good, your consciousness becomes part of universe. And if you are doing something negative, and it is all true, consciousness shrinks. We all feel that. जब कुछ खराब काम करते हैं तो we feel, oh, this is not me. The consciousness shrinks. But I do good. I become part of I do some seva or someone. The consciousness becomes so big, like it becomes universe. It's like that. That's what he is saying here. That's a metaphor. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When we read, if we have those thoughts, then this Parayan helps us. So that's so now Tulsidas ji, how he defines the same thing. Valmiki ji gave in one shlok. Tulsidas ji, those who read Sundarkand, they may recollect it. But in the second shlok of Sundarkand in Tulsi Ramayana, Atulit Baldhamam Ham Shailabhateham Danujvan Krishanum Jnaninam Agragadnigam Sakala Gun Nidhanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Pri Bhaktam Vata Jatam Namami. Tulsidas ji, before starting Sundarkand, he says, the one who is like Sumeru Parvat, exactly similar what Valmiki says. Sumeru Parvat is, we know, Sumeru is above Himalaya, that Parvat. He's like that big. And he says, that Tirupi one, like the Agni which burns the forest. We see the forest fire in America all the time in San Fran. So he's like a forest fire which is going to destroy those death demons, right? Like that forest fire. Gyani Nam Agraganyam. He is the leader of all the Gyanis. And some Guna Nidhanam. He is the treasure of all the Guna. We'll see, right? We'll see when Hanumanji meets Sita. Yashtra Siddhina Nidhike Data Aswaradina Janaki Mata. That is Hanumanji, the treasure of all the qualities. That's what he's saying. Guna Nidhanam. Nidhan means treasure. Guna means all the qualities. And Raghupati Priya, and which is the dear to Bhagwan Ram. And Tulsidas say, I do naman, pranam to that Hanumanji. And now start the Sundarkand. So anyway, we'll read few from both Valmiki and Tulsidi and try to achieve whatever we can do. It's a huge chapter, but it's like that. So I'll have to skip few things. But so we all know the story very quickly. So when Hanumanji took the leap, it's a story goes that Sagar saw that Hanumanji is flying. So Sagar, there is a relation between Sagar and Raghuvansh, the Ikshaku Vansh, Bhagwan Ram. So Sagar said, okay, we need to help Hanumanji because he is flying through, and it's 100 yojan. So he said there was a Manak Parvat inside the Sagar. He told Manak, can you just come out and give him some rest in the middle of the ocean, maybe 50 yojan or 400 kilometers or maybe 400 kilometers Hanumanji is completed. So he said, let's give him rest. So Manak Parvat says to Hanumanji that I'm here. You want to take rest? So, and we all see that very famous shlok, right? So Manak says, I want to give you the rest. Hanumanji says, no, I cannot do that. But no, I came out of ocean to give you rest. Look at Hanumanji. That's what this Sundarkand is all Hanumanji's wisdom. So Hanumanji says, okay, since you are offering me, it's as a gratitude, I cannot. So the Doha, very famous Doha goes, right? Hanuman tehi parsa kar punikeen pranam, Ram kaju kine mohi kaha vishram. So he says, I cannot take rest without completing. Valmiki ji has the same shlok, but Siddhaji put in a very different way. But he said, I can do a pranam, I can touch you. So that means your desire that I should take rest also will be fulfilled, and I cannot take rest. That's Hanumanji's wisdom. So then Hanumanji touches and then go forward. Then once he moved forward, there was a demon. Before that, the Devtas, they thought that can Hanuman accomplish this? Because he has to go all the way and then come back, and Ravan, we know that. I think we need to test his wisdom or his skill. So they told Sursa. Sursa there is a character, like kind of demon character. They said, can you help us? He said, what? Can you test Hanumanji's wisdom or skill? She said, okay. So we know all the story, right? Sursa said, okay, she came with a big mouth, very famous. Right? And she said, you cannot cross because I have to eat you. Why? He said, no, because that's so. So Hanumanji said, no, hold on. Then Hanumanji decided, okay, if I'll fight with her, it's going to be tough. So Hanumanji said, what do you want? He said, you have to enter in my mouth. Without that, you cannot go. Hanumanji, okay, open your mouth. She opens. Then there is a whole thing. Jasa Sursa badan badava, tasu dun kapi rup dikhawa. So Sursa make it 100 yojan. It says up to 700 yojan. It Valmiki Ramayana. So Tulsiji doesn't talk about 700, but he says that Sursa kept increasing size of her mouth, and Hanumanji kept increasing. So Hanumanji becomes 700 yojan. She became 700. Then Hanumanji became very small and just entered her mouth and came out. I said, you done? You wanted me to enter you? I have done it. So she says, she told Devtas that, oh, this guy is going to accomplish the work. He knows how to handle the situation. Exactly. So there's example always given. The Hanumanji doesn't want to waste time. So same thing, we should not waste time in unnecessary fightings or unnecessary fighting the fires, which is of no use. You make sure that you just move forward. So Hanumanji very wisely became small. And so next, there is another Rakshini came, which was Simhika. And Simhika had that boon, it's all in Ramayana, that she could see the shadow of flying object and she'll grab the object. And she used to eat. So when Hanumanji was flying, Hanumanji's shadow came. And she said, oh, here is an object I want to eat. So Hanumanji felt that pull. He said, oh, somebody is pulling me. Then he realized there is a Simika. So he comes down and of course he fired. He quickly killed Simika and moved forward. And then when he enters Lanka, and so now he is entering Lanka. So we all know that when he enters Lanka, he is going to describe all how the Lanka is, and we will see that the description of a little bit, because there is a Valmiki ji has described in at least maybe 40-50 shlok how Lanka looks. We'll just read very quickly. Tulsidas ji has summarized in couple of them. So we'll just read maybe one from Tulsidas ji and it describes very beautifully, right? So it says there is a chand in that, right? कनक कोट विचित्र मणि कत सुंदरिया सुंदर यतना घना चहु हट हट सुबट बीती चारुपुर बहु विधि बना गजबाजी खच्चर निकद पतचर रथ बरु थई को गने बहुरूप निश्चर जूत अति बल सेन बरनत नहीं बने. So Tulsidas ji is describing, and there look at those words, right? He says Kanak coat. Coat means the wall. And he's saying the boundary wall. And he's saying Kanak means gold. So he's saying the boundary wall around that whole city, the fort, the area, is made of gold. Kanak means gold. And Manikrat Sundar Yatanagana. The houses there, beautiful houses, are very dense. So that means the city was very dense, thickly populated. Chahu hut means bazaar, right? We know the hut in Hindi. Local language say hut. Hut means hut is a Sanskrit word, the bazaar. And he says Chahu hut means there are many of the markets are. Hanumanji is seeing this and he's describing. And then various types of. And then he says Atipal Sen Barnat, and there are many armies protecting the Lanka. Oh, so Hanumanji says, oh, it's tough. So it is a place where people used to say it's Ravan's Lanka. So there is a whole description. Valmiki ji has given a big, but Tulsidas ji also right. Okay. So now when he enters Lanka, he realizes there is a shlok here. He realizes that if I go as it is with my huge form, then they'll recognize me immediately. They'll say, who is this? So they said, okay. So Hanumanji says, I'll take the shorter form. He immediately brings down to come down to the normal form. And we know the story of Hanumanji became. Tulsidas say masak saman means like mosquito. He had that power. So we'll see that when come. So now he enters Lanka. So he meets Lankini. Lankini is a guard, we can say. It says she's a guard. She's a demon guard of Lanka. That's why her name is Lankini. And she says, oh, she realized, she saw Hanumanji. She said, who are you? Hanumanji realized if she recognizes me, then there'll be a problem. So there is a whole shlok. Hanumanji immediately punched her. And she was so strong that when she fell down, she realized that nobody can punch me like that. So that means this is not ordinary man. She immediately get to the consciousness. And she said, hey, who are you? So he said, forget about me. But she said, no, the reason I'm asking because I was given by Brahmaji or sometime that I'm so strong that if somebody punch you down, that's going to be a Bhagwan Ram's devotee. So you are someone Bhagwan, and she was Bhagwan Ram's devotee too. She said, my life was fulfilled. And I got your darshan. So Hanumanji said, okay, now you got it. So I had to I come here to find Sita ji. So there is a very, very famous shlok in Doha, Chopai, in Ramayana, which I remember when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. My grandfather asked us to memorize. And all our brothers, sisters, like all in our family, even today the tradition is there. Whenever we go out for a long journey, and we say that shlok. I think many homes, it's not our home, but many homes. I still remember I learned with 4 or 5 years old. That time, the meaning was not that significant. But so there is, Lankini is saying to Hanumanji that I'm giving you the blessing. And she says, Pravesh Nagar kije sab kaja, Hriday rakh Kausulpur Raja. Garal Sadhar Pukarahi Mitai, Gopad Sindhu Anal Sitalai. I memorized this when I was 5 years old, so I still remember. So every time, even now, we go for a long journey, The moment we shut our garage door, we say that. Even kids know that. Right? In our family, there's a tradition everywhere in Bharat and America, or even kids know that. The moment we go for a journey, we say that all together. Say, Pravesh Nagar kijiye sab. So she is saying, enter Sri Lanka, Hanumanji, Pravesh Nagar. Enter this, Pravesh into this Nagar. Hriday Rakh Kaushalpur Raja. Keep Ramchandra ji in your mind. What will happen? Beautifully, Valmiki ji didn't give this description, but it's Tulsidas ji. She also says in Valmiki Ramayana, she blesses Hanumanji. But Tulsidas ji brought that Kathanak, the emotion. Very beautifully, the second line of that. I mean, it's all available in Tulsi Ramayana. She says, if you have Ram, Kaushalpur Raja Hriday Rakh, if you have Ram in your Hriday, what will happen in your journey? That's what we say, our grandfather taught us. Garal Sudha. Garal means wish. Sudha means honey or Amrit. So she says that wish will become Amrit. The poison will or become Sudha means Amrit. Ripu Karahi Mitai. Ripu means enemy. Mitai means friendship. The enemies will become your friend. See, that's what this is what Hanumanji was. Right? You're not always fighting. If you can make enemy the adversary's friend, that's a better rather than losing the energy. So she says, Garal Sudha, wish will become Amrit. Ripu Karahi Mitai. The enemies, adversaries will be helpful, or enemies will become friend. Gopad Sindhu. Sindhu means the ocean will be, Gopad means that the fit, like the sole of cow's leg. That's Gopad. Go means cow, Pad means that. Like it's like this size. So she says the soul. So Gopad Sindhu. The Sindhu, the ocean will be like a small size of a cow leg, right? Or foot. And Anal Sitalai. Anal means the fire. Fire will become cold. Fire will not burn you. That's what Tulsidaji says, right? Fire will not burn a devotee. So she is saying, so that's what, I mean, this is very famous. Many homes use this. But the purpose of this, that when I start any activity or any journey, if I have this, then all adversaries will become your favorable. Or you will overcome adversaries without getting disturbed in other way. So this is a very famous Chopai. I thought we'll share that. But this was Tulsidaji's idea. So with that, Hanumanji enters Lanka. And then there are a whole description of that. Hanumanji is flying through Lanka in a small form. Hanumanji had that power. That's why he says Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi Ke Data. There are 8 Siddhis, supernatural power, which allow, in Patanjali says in the Yoga Shastra, many Shastra, it is mentioned in our Shastra, many places. So there are 8 Siddhis. One of that is you become light, you become kind of invisible to others, you become very big power, like Hanumanji did that. You can fly. In spite of powerful, you can fly. Hanumanji became big and is flying. So all these are called supernatural power, Siddhi, we call it. So Hanumanji, so that's what Hanumanji used, that one of that and flying through the Lanka. And there is a whole description of that is called Shangar Ras. Even Valmiki ji is described, Tulsidas ji did less, but Valmiki to both. And Hanumanji is saying that how beautiful Lanka is. Beautiful ladies, beautiful ornaments, beautiful houses. And so all Shangar Ras. And Hanumanji is also enjoying that Shangar. Right? And then he moved forward, and finally he was looking for Sita ji. So the stage comes where Hanumanji went to all the palaces. He saw Ravan sleeping and Ravan's queens and all those things. And then Hanumanji was a little frustrated because he didn't see Sita ji. So he didn't see Sita ji. So in the Valmiki Ramayana it's mentioned, not in Tulsi ji. Tulsidas ji won't say that because Tulsidas ji, Hanumanji is his guru. So Valmiki Ramayana says Hanumanji became so frustrated that at one point he says that my life is useless if I cannot do this. I cannot find Sita ji because I made a promise to Vanars when I started. And Hanumanji made a promise to them that if I don't find Sita ji in Lanka, there is a shlok, I'll go to Swarg. Because suppose Sita ji, Ravan killed her. She's in Swarg, right? I'll go to Swarg and get her. And if I don't find her in Swarg, then I'll uproot. There is a word he used, Samutpatya Lanka. means I'll uproot the entire Lanka and bring it to Bhagwan Ram if I cannot find myself. That much passion he has. I'll take the entire Lanka, and including Ravan, and get it to Ramji and say, here is the, I don't find. So he was frustrated. I promised that, and I'm not finding. So there is a shlok, he gets frustrated and get into Vishad. Like, oh, Vishad missing. And then he immediately regained, oh, this is Ram Kaj. I should not do that. Let me find more. Then he started searching again. So that's what the whole nice emotions are there. That even Hanumanji gets that frustration that I'm not. But he says, oh, this is Ram Kaj. So the description given by some acharyas very nicely, my Guruji also used to say that even Hanumanji got the ahankar, that I am doing it and I am not finding it. Then he regained that, hold on, I'm not doing anything. This is Ram Kaj. Then he regained his emotional power. And that's what we do. All our teaching, all our Shastra, including Bhagavad Gita, is the best on this, right? So we all, when Hanumanji can get, but Hanumanji can overcome. Arjun can overcome because of Krishna. Hanumanji can overcome because of Ram. So that is what Ram Naam or Ram Krishna. Bhagwan ka naam is important because Bhagwan ka naam helps us overcome that weakness or vishad or emotion. That's what happened. It's all description there. I'm just summarizing that. Then he saw one house, which is Vibhishan's house. And then he asked that, oh, there is a tulsi leaf. In fact, when I was teaching this Ramayana in our Balvihar, and in this portion came, so I asked them, see, Hanumanji saw a tree there, a plant, and he immediately saw, this looks like some devotee's house. What that plant could be. I was so happy that there is a 5-year-old girl. She says, Uncle, there's a tulsi plant. And I just hugged her. I said, wow, see, look at that. Little girl had that in mind that if there is a plant outside a house, that could be a Hindu house. And that's what mentioned here. That so Hanuman said, oh, there is a tulsi plant, this must be a devotee. And that was Vibhishan's house. Then Vibhishan guided him to that you can go. So finally, we all know that Hanumanji entered. Finally, he found Ashok Vatika, and he saw Sitaji sitting under that tree. Hanumanji sat on one of the branches and waiting for an opportunity. Ravan came. We all know that, right? And before that, there is Hanumanji has a description of Pushpak Viman also. That's a very whole different story, but he described Pushpak Viman as a huge Viman, size of a 7-story building like that. So it must be a huge Pushpak Viman. We'll talk about Uttarakhand when we come to that. So anyway, now Hanumanji is sitting, and when the Ravan left after again threatening Sitaji, Hanumanji said, this is the time for me to introduce myself. And we all know that, right? Hanumanji just dropped that mudrika. And we saw that when Hanumanji was leaving, Bhagwan watching everyone, we saw that, right, in Kushkinda Kand, Bhagwan are watching who's going to finish this. And that time itself, Bhagwan called Hanumanji, come here, take this mudrika. Anybody who is going to, most probably likely going to be you. If you see Sita, this is that identification mark that she will recognize if you have come from me. It's my do. So Hanumanji dropped that mudrika. So Hanumanji dropped the mudrika and Sitaji saw the mudrika. And there is a whole cloak, right? Ram Nam, Ankit Ati Sundar. That's why Sundar word has come in Sundarkand many times. There is Sundar 1, Sundar Mudrika. There are a lot. Maybe that's one reason our acharyas have titled it Sundarkand, because a lot of good things are happening, a lot of auspicious words are there. So she sees the mudrika and she says, oh, who are you? Who has dropped the mudrika? And Hanumanji comes down. We all know the story. So she says, who are you? And then he says, I'm Ramji's Doot. And there's a whole conversation. She said, it could be Ravan, because Ravan did the same thing with me. And so there is Tulsidaji doesn't say, Valmiki says that. Sitaji says, I don't trust you, because it could be Ravan again. And then Hanumanji says, okay, here's the mudrika. And then he tells an incident of how Ramji, so she says, oh, now I believe you are. And she says another shlok, she says that I have a good feeling also. When I saw Ravan, that time I didn't have that, I had a fear, but I don't have a fear when I'm talking to you. And that means, because Hanumanji took the roop of a Vipra. Vipra means the Brahman kind of thing, or Pandit. Same thing he met Ramji. So she said, Ravan did the same thing. So she said, but I have a feeling also, like good feeling. So I trust you. And then Hanumanji took his form, Vanar form. And then they gave the Mudrika. So, and then we all know that. Then Hanumanji said, okay, this is Mudrika. And so there is an offer Hanumanji gave to her that if you want, I can take you now. I mean, I can just sit on my bag and I'll take you. She said, no. That will make damage Bhagwan Ram's reputation. But he is supposed to come and take me. So you go, I can handle the situation now, you go. And then let Ram come here and take me. So Hanumanji goes, and we all know that Hanumanji burned the Lanka and he met Ravan also. So he wanted to meet Ravan. So he purposely allowed them to burn his, like get him tied using Brahmastra or whatever. So he met Ravan and then he comes back and then when he comes back, he says to Bhagwan Ram, like everybody was so joyful that Hanumanji did the work. And then Bhagwan Ram was very happy, and Bhagwan Ram gave a hug to Hanumanji, right? So, and then we know that, and Sundarkand is a whole big, but we just summarize. So at the end, Tulsidas ji says that is the key here. Why? That's the reason people read Sundarkand. Now look at this. Sundarkand has like Hanumanji has Shrangar Ras, then Karun Ras, because he is very upset seeing Sita ji. In fact, he was under Vishad. And then he is very happy meeting Sita ji, right? There is a Bhakti Ras. The conversation between Hanumanji and Sita ji, wonderfully described. It's like a Bhakt talking to Bhakt. So there is a Bhakti Ras. And then Hanumanji, Sita ji felt very peaceful when she saw Hanumanji. There's a Shant Ras. All these Navaras. So that's the reason this Katha is very beautiful. And that is the reason when do a Parayana Sundarkand, with this story is same. People have read Sundarkand 1,000 times. Nothing is changing. Only thing, the same emotion again and again and again. When I do Parayan, that helps in, basically that becomes meditation in modern terms. Because the only thought I have in mind is Hanumanji's heroics or Hanumanji's bhakti or Ramji, Sita ji. That's the only thought in mind. And that makes, we call it Atma Shuddhi or purification, or we can say Atma Bal, that provides me the strength. So that is the reason Sundarkand is read. Kabhi, if you feel bad, there are exams to kids, and there is a shorter version of Sundarkand, is Hanuman Chalisa. So if you cannot do Sundarkand, do Hanuman Chalisa, that covers everything. But the purpose of Hanuman Chalisa, the same Parayan, is that I know the meaning when I am reading, I am playing that meaning in mind. And there is only one purpose, Bhagwan Ram or Hanumanji or Bhakti or Karuna or gratitude, all those. And that gives me the strength, the psychological strength. That's the benefit of reading. And that's the reason it is recommended. And that is the purpose of pranayam. And jap, right, same thing. But anyway, so at the end, Tulsidas ji says what is the Phalshruti of reading Sundarkand. He has very nicely. Valmiki ji doesn't talk about that. This is also Tulsidas ji. So he is saying at the end, last chand of Sundarkand, that is a Phalshruti. What happens when we read Sundarkand again and again with this mind, with this whole understanding. It is not just reading for the sake of reading. And it is not a story. It's a meaningful story. It gives the fulfillment. So it says, Sukha bhavana sansaya samanadavana vishada ragupati gunagana taji sakal asa bharosa gavahi sunahi santata satamana sakala sumangal means Sundar, same thing. Sakala sumangal dayak ragunayak gungan sadar sunahite tarahi bhav sindhu bina jalayan. So he is saying, Tulsidas ji, the benefit, it's a very loose word, but we have to use it, or Phalshruti. He says, Sakala Sumangala Dayak. It provides you the auspiciousness. Ragunayak Gunagan. Now look at that. See, that's the beauty. It is all about Hanumanji, but at the end, it is Ragunayak's Gunagan. Hanumanji was saying, Mera naam loge to Bhagwan ka hi naam loge. And that is what we say. Hanumanji is not without Ramji, and Ramji is not without Hanumanji in that sense. So he's saying, by reading Sundarkand, Ragunayak Gungan, it is Ragunayak's Gungan, not just Hanumanji's. And what happened? Sadar Sunahi. Sadar means with nishtha. With sadar means with shraddha. Sunahi. The people who, sunahi means not listening, reading also. Te tarahi bhav sindhu. Bhav sindhu means this world is ocean, is like an ocean. The sansar is like ocean. And then full of suffering. That's what we say. Sindhu tarahi, you will cross this ocean of this suffering, of sansar, bina jalayan, without the boat. I mean, otherwise, if you have to cross an ocean, you need a boat. You need to transfer. You need to some mode of transport. He said, you don't need anything. Bhagwan Ram is good enough. But it is all glory of Hanumanji. You're reading in this, but the benefit we are getting is Ramji's kripa, like that. So that's the Falshruti of Sundarkand. I think we have complete. I mean, Sundarkand, we can talk a week long discussion on this, but I just short whatever possible we did that. So we'll continue next time when we meet Lanka Kand. But now let's do one or two stanza of Hanuman Chalisa, and then we do Ram Jap, and then Ram Nam Jap, right? So Hanuman Chalisa related verses which we saw today, right? So there is one Prabhu Mudrika me lahi mukmahi jaladilangi gaya charjanahi. So Bhagwan Ram, look at that. Bhagwan Ram gave that mudrika to Hanumanji. And there was a whole army of Sugri was there. That time Bhagwan realized that Hanumanji is going to do this work. So he says Prabhu mudrika, and then it is said that it is not mentioned in Ramayana where the mudrika was. But Tulsidas Ji has put it nicely. Tulsidas Ji, where will he keep it? He has mudrika is flying, right? So where it will keep the hand, it may fall. So he said, मुंह में रख लेते हैं. मेले ही मुख माही. And the whole message here is Tulsidas Ji say that Ram Nam should be always in the mouth. We should always have Ram Nam in the mouth. And if you do that, Jaladi langi ge achrajanahi. If Ram Nam is in our heart, muh means heart, right? Then Jaladi langi ge achrajanahi means Jaladi means samudra, the ocean. You can, like Hanumanji did that. And he said that when he came back, there is a chopai here, we didn't read, but when Bhagwan Ram praised him, he said, oh, no, I didn't do anything. It is all your kripa. I could fly and come back because of your kripa. I had nothing to do in this. Same thing. Jaladi langi ge achraj. There is no surprise that if Ram Nam Mudrika is in the mouth, you can cross the ocean without any trouble. That's the Tulsidas Ji's Hanuman Chalisa line means actually. We all chant, but that is the Falshruti and that is the meaning. And then another line we'll just Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi ke Data Aswara Deena Janaki Mata. Tulsidas Ji. So in both Valmiki Ramayana and Tulsi Ramayana, Sita Ji gives blessings to Hanumanji. Valmiki Ramayana, she doesn't say too much. He just says, okay, thank you, and I bless you. But in Tulsi Ramayana, Ramcharitmanas, Sita Ji give blessings to Hanumanji. That but she didn't say Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi ke Data. She just gave the blessing that Hanuman, you will have the power to bless others. That's what the whole Doha is. Tulsidas Ji wrote the same, and Tulsidas Ji maybe extended that to in Hanuman Chalisa, that she didn't talk about Ashta Siddhi and Navnidhi. She said you will have all the powers to bless people, Data. You will be, because you will have power, and Hanumanji had that. You will have more power, you can help others. And Tulsidas Ji put it in Ashta Siddhi. So in our Shastra, there are 8 types of supernatural powers. And we say, again, Lagima, Mahima, Anima, Garima, Vashitva, Ishatva. That means you can control someone else, you can like become light, you can become heavy, all those. Hanumanji did that, right? And now Nidhi means there are 9 treasures. Basically spiritual prosperity and material prosperity. And there are examples given like lotus. Lotus is pure and perfect. So you will have your consciousness or your character will be pure and perfect. There are 9 types of it. They give example of turtle life of Samriddhi. And why? Because turtle is the longest living animal. And in our houses also, you see many houses that turtle we keep at the door. The purpose is it is long-lasting prosperity. That is Navnidhi. All those 9 are there. So she is saying that Hanumanji, Tulsidas Ji saying that, Sita is saying that you Ashta Siddhinav Nidhikeda, you will be able to deliver this to others. Aswardina Janaki Mata. Janaki Mata, you will have Hanuman power to bless others. So that's what 2 lines of Hanuman Chalisa. Let's do Ram Nam Jap, and I'll share my screen. And if time is not there, then you can do Dhyan after, once we separately also, right? So I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay, so this is again, this is all same thing. This is the entire Ramayana. So when we do Ram Nam, this is Jap. We are not doing multiple things. We are doing just one thing in my consciousness, Ram. That's it. And Bhagavan Ram is nothing but just, and I said last time, it is not एक राम दशरथ का बेटा, एक राम घर घर में बैठा, एक राम का जगत पसारा, एक राम त्रिभुवन से न्यारा. वो जो निर्गुण राम है, that सत्य, the आनंद, शांति, that Ram is we are talking about. राम राम जय सीता राम,
राम राम जय सीता राम,
राम राम जय राजा राम,
राम राम जय राजा राम,
शब्द ब्रह्म परात्पर राम,
शब्द ब्रह्म परात्पर राम,
कालात्मक परमेश्वर राम,
कालात्मक
परमेश्वर
राम,
कौशल्या सुखवर्धन राम,
कौशल्या सुखवर्धन
राम,
श्रीमत दशरथ नंदन राम,
श्रीमद
दशरथ नंदन राम,
शबरी दत्त फलाशन राम,
शबरी दत्त पलाश
दर्शन राम,
हनुमत सेवित निज पद राम,
हनुमत से नित
निज पद राम,
समस्त लोकोधारक राम,
समस्त लोकोद्धारक राम,
राम,
धर्म स्थापन तत्पर राम,
धर्म
तत्पर राम,
राम राम जय सीता राम,
राम राम जय सीता
राम,
राम राम जय राजा राम.
राम
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 राम जय राजा राम.
Now let's see Ram 6 times, right? Ram,
राम
Ram,
राम
Ram, Ram,
राम
Ram,
राम
Ram.
राम
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. जय सीत राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की. Yeah, so good. So next week we'll not meet because next week is long weekend, and then we'll meet after